So here we go. The big bad. The game that truly put Square on the international map. Remember when Hironobu Sakaguchi was at Square? They left Square to form Mistwalker, and they did like 3 games. That said, Lost Odyssey is like the real Final Fantasy XII. Or 13, depends how you want to look at it. So we're playing Final Fantasy VII on the PS4. PS4 version is actually really nice. And it's like, oh hey Square, you can actually make competent ports of your classic games to modern systems. Yeah, no, I totally agree, Bane. Get that volume. There we go. I mean, we've had this discussion a few times, Bane, but personally, I do really think that when Square merged with Enix, the real creativity in both companies just kind of died. They're like the only truly creative new IP they had that was of any interest since the merger was The World Ends With You on the DS. So I did promise an RPG today. My original intention was to do Pokemon. I was going to do either Fire Red or Leaf Green. But as is often the case, technical difficulties were just being unfriendly to me. I tell you what though, one thing I do really like about 7 on the PS4 is it keeps that 4:3 ratio. It hasn't stretched it at all, and I really like that. And of course Final Fantasy VII has one of my favourite soundtracks in the series. That's another fair point. I mean, after Square merged with Enix, the Final Fantasy series became heavily divided. I forget, was 10-2 before or after the merger? Because I know 11 came out during the Squaresoft days, and 10 definitely came out during the Squaresoft days, but then 12 was after the merger, and 12 has a long and troubled development history. Then 2 was after. Alright, thanks, Bane. I mean, we got Crisis Core after the merger, and Crisis Core is pretty solid. Dissidia is kind of neat. Duodecim's pretty decent. World of Final Fantasy is pretty solid. Don't mind that musical skip there as it changes FMVs. Oh, I wonder if that was in the original version. And we actually do have to quit out of this or it'll just loop. So if we look here, we actually have my platinum saves. So don't pay too much attention to those. I have actually platinumed this game. But before we start, why don't we take a look at the special movie?
Long ago, we looked upon a foreboding sky. The memory of the star that threatened all burns eternal in our hearts. In its wake came an age of silence. Yet with each fond remembrance, we knew those encountered were not forgotten. That someday we would see them again.
For some reason, despite having set the
wishful thinking.
chat. Set my phone to be the chat receiver. I was
But
actually
after the
getting
long calm,
video.
there are now the beginnings
Video
of
sound.
a stir. The reunion at hand may bring joy. It may bring fear. But let us embrace whatever it brings.
It's been 4 years.
For they are coming back.
They were coming back 4 years ago.
At last, the promise has been made.
The promise was made 4 years ago. Yeah, I don't know, I mean, there's stuff to be said about the remake. I mean, I'll agree with you, Bane. When it starts doing the opening bit of opening bombing mission, which is a fantastic song, yeah, that's awesome. And it's like, oh. But, you know, the new footage that came out since, it's like, not overly enthusiastic. I have hope, but I'm not overly enthusiastic. So let's do this bad boy. What I want to stress as well, the PS4 version of this game has 3 cheats, they were called at the time. I think Square calls them boosters now. You have the 3 times speed, the no random encounters, and the refill health magic and limit break meter. Now, in case you're worried about me using those and not telling you, they appear at the side there. Whenever I turn one of them on, you'll see it. 3 speed, which can't be used during FMVs. Refill health, magic and limit break meter there. And no random encounters. So I'm not going to be cheating at this game without you knowing, and the only one I'm really going to be using is the fast forward. I love those opening notes of this. New threat mod of Final Fantasy VII? What's that be? Do you mean the visual cleanup? Actually, what was it, the neural networks or something? The AI routines cleaning up all the backgrounds and FMVs and making it look super clean. Oh, there it is. 1997. Our world changed. Especially here in Europe, because this was the first Final Fantasy we actually bloody got. So, probably something I'm going to be saying a lot during this playthrough. I love this song, but I also just love Final Fantasy VII's soundtrack. There's so many good songs in this. Amazing. Oh, that's interesting. Also, really cool thing, actual analog support, although the directions are just 8 directions, but it does detect if you are pushing further or all the way, so you can actually walk, which is really nice. Something they didn't do for the PS4 port of 9, despite 9 originally having full analog control. I was turning on the little help bar there just for the flavor text. I like flavor text. It's a mod of the Steam version. The game has been expanded massively in terms of content, abilities, and bosses. You know, I'll have to look into that. The Steam version is like one of the only versions I don't own of this. It would be the only version, but I don't actually have this on Switch yet. I say yet because I know at some point I'm going to get it. yeah, this port I do think is actually really solid. It's based on the PC port of Final Fantasy VII, which compared to the later ports like 5, 6, 9, they were all based on the Android ports, the mobile ports. So if you get 9 on PS4 or now Xbox One or Switch, you're getting a port of the PS4 version, which is a port of the Steam version, which is a port of the mobile version, and it's honestly awful. PS1 version is always a good time. Like, if I'm playing this game on the go, which I will do regularly, because this is a game I can just play and turn my brain off. It's very much kind of a comfort game for me, honestly. So I know this game well enough to just mess around and do it. And up until the Switch version came out, the PS1 version on PSP or Vita was really the only way for me to go. I could consider getting it on mobile, but I don't want to. Yeah, don't worry. I'll show you that that line in particular, Bane. They did fix it. So yeah, no. Most of the time, if I'm playing this game, I'm playing it portable, because I can play it on and off and know exactly where I am. It's really good, and it'll be the PS1 version on either a PSP or the Vita. I say a PSP because I have multiple. Like, the PSP Go is so convenient for that kind of thing. Press the button. Barrett, I want you inside me. Also, this version doesn't have the big issue that the PC version had with the ridiculous mouths on everyone. Like, everybody had a mouth drawn on them in the PC version, and the mouth was always open. So it looked really silly. I miss this era of gaming with the pre-rendered backgrounds. It look really nice. You know, maybe I'll go into the options and see about speeding the battle speed up. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go in the options and do a bunch of stuff. Let's see, battle speed. Probably about there. Yes. Because you gotta make it your own whenever you play this game. So what I do with the menu is I basically just change all the blue to green in an equal number. So you still have the really nice gradient, it's just in green instead of blue. Bam. Red and black, eh? Nah, it's green for me. Like I say, with the gradient set, as it like shifts colour as you go down, following the original colour pattern, yeah, I think it looks quite nice. But yeah, no, I miss this era of pre-rendered backgrounds for games. That's a graphical style I wish they'd bring back. Alright, Barrett, don't hit people in the back row. So, as with many people, not just in Europe, Final Fantasy VII was my first Final Fantasy game, and just actually my first real RPG. I have a lot of history with this game. I've been through it so many. I've been through this RPG. I've been through this game more than any other RPG. I don't think anything else even comes close. Big one in the background. And one thing I do like about Final Fantasy VII as a game to go back to quite often, it's also not a difficult game. Because if you know what you're doing, you never really have to grind in this. Which can't be said for like most of the other games in the series. It's like Final Fantasy VIII you'll have to grind, 9 you'll have to grind, 6 you have to grind, 5 it's recommended you grind for some of the job skills. But no, 7's not as difficult as you'd think. It's great that I get restore materia here. I wish I could equip it before this boss battle. Oh yeah, you can grind and break the game while you can break the game by grinding in 8, a lot easier than you'd think. But you also do need to grind just to be able to do anything. It's not like you have to grind multiple random battles, it's just every time you get into a random battle, either draw everything until you're maxed, or grind the card game. Oh, don't you know, Bane? You have to attack while the tail is up. Remember, attack while the tail's up. It'll counter-attack with its laser. It's also great that I can regularly take a drink with this game because it doesn't require constant attention or both hands on the controller. I just love the cinematic flair of the battles, because this being the first 3D Final Fantasy, like a lot of the camera movements and stuff I do really like about this game. Remember when they brought back a lot of things in Crisis Core to illustrate the parallels of Zack's journey to Clouds? So that's a good use for the speed up. Hey, remember when Zack fell from a reactor and landed in the exact same place Cloud did? But Crisis Core is a game we'll get to some point. So the way we're going to do the compilation of 7 is we're going to do 7, and then we're probably going to do Dirge of Cerberus before we do Crisis Core. Because Dirge of Cerberus did come out before Crisis Core, even though it chronologically takes place afterwards. Oh yeah, one of my favourite things about Crisis Core story is that it makes Sephiroth into a likeable character, which I thought was excellent. And it really makes Sephiroth's fall all the more tragic because you like him as a character. Don't get me wrong, Crisis Core is a fantastic game. As I said, that game is also very similar to Final Fantasy VIII, very easily broken. Fun fact, if you don't free Jesse there, you cannot escape. But the game will let you get all the way to the escape point before telling you can't escape. I've never actually played Dirge of Cerberus, so I am really interested in checking it out and seeing what I think of it. Alright, Frankie's in the back row. Because of the back attack. There we go. Yeah, I'm not predisposed against Dirge of Cerberus just because of the ideas of it. You guys see that? Jesse was just floating up the ladder. I remember that happened in the PS1 version. Fast forward makes the random battles so much more bearable as well. And don't get me wrong, I can totally deal with random battles, having grown up on games like this. But it is nice to be able to speed them up. Like, Earthbound had like one of the best systems for that. The battles weren't random, and if you were a certain amount stronger than the opponent, it just immediately resolved the battle, said you won, and gave you the experience. In the new threat mod, the guard scorpion chases you. You mean like that one robot in 8 from the Dollet mission? Is it basically that? Damn it, Jesse, stop falling over. So who's looking forward to E3? I mean, at this point, I think it is this month. It might be this week, next week. I don't know. But yeah, compared to the Final Fantasy IX PS4 version, I do like the way this game looks. If you play the modern version of Final Fantasy IX, the backgrounds look really blurry, while the characters and the 3D elements are super sharp. And it's really off-putting, but they blend together like really well. The character models don't stand out a huge amount. Let me buy a flower from you. Thank you. Sure we'll never see her again. Remember when Loveless had one poster and then Crisis Core made a huge thing out of it? appears in random encounters only. There's no actual spread like the XTM092 and 8. It's kind of interesting making it into a random encounter, kind of like I guess the idea would be like War Mech in Final Fantasy I. How that could randomly appear, but was actually way stronger than the standard ends. I think E3 will set a release date for 2020. Yeah, I assume you saw about the remake. And more details on it would be really nice. The new trailer they released was actually nice to finally have something about it. But actual details would be great. Don't start quoting Loveless at me, Bane. Yeah, like actual details, like release date, what the episodic idea actually means. Because they said, no, Final Fantasy VII Remake is still going to be released in parts. What do they actually mean by that? There's also the point of, is there any way for them to tell us where the part will end without spoiling story content? I suppose like the only real equivalent you could give would be, oh yeah, no, this part ends where disc 1 ended in the original Final Fantasy VII. It's like, yeah, okay, that doesn't spoil anything. Although, you know, if you're also playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time with the remake, you still have no idea where that is, and you may be expecting it to end at any time. You can't cut the honeybee in. It's like, we're remaking Final Fantasy VII, you have to keep all of the stupid stuff intact. You need to keep the honeybee in, you need to keep the cross-dressing, you need to keep the date with Barrett. Well, I'm not overly happy that the recent trailer they showed Aerith giving Cloud a flower with no choice to not take a flower. I really hope you still get to say that she was the slum drunk. Because like, otherwise, what's the point? Well, to be fair, as far as Tifa's breasts go, and I think I had this discussion with somebody else at one point, as far as Tifa's breasts go, with the way the PS1 models are rendered, it was either all or nothing. I mean, with the models, Tifa is the only character, like the overworld models like this, Tifa is the only character that actually visibly has breasts. I think like the exceptions are some of the characters in the Honeybee Inn and Scarlet. But like you can't see Jessie visible. You can't see any visible breasts for Jessie or Aerith. So I think downsizing them to more reasonable proportions isn't necessarily a bad idea. Just don't change the costume. Also, she better still have the cowboy hat in the flashback. Square definitely hit the ball out of the park on the music on just PS1, not even just 7. PS1, because Final Fantasy VIII has an excellent soundtrack, 9 is an excellent soundtrack. Stuff like Einhander. Einhander's soundtrack is brilliant and incredibly underrated. Parasite Eve has a fantastic soundtrack. So this is the explanation for basically how Midgard's set out, which is kind of cool. Everybody says Final Fantasy VII went with a futuristic style for the series. I wouldn't necessarily agree that it was futuristic. Midgar as a design does have a bunch of like dystopian elements. So if you pay attention, you can definitely see some similarities to Akira in the way the city's designed. But I wouldn't say it's futuristic. Like, the rest of the world is basically very standard as well. If anything, it still feels kind of like pre-modern day. Like 6 had the very steam style technology. 8's the one that had, I would say, like a lot of the sci-fi elements to it. Stuff like the flying garden, the city, the hidden continent, spaceships. Yeah, I would say like post-industrial. I wouldn't say sci-fi. Probably, I don't know, like space race era. I wouldn't necessarily say sci-fi. I need to replay some more Final Fantasies. I've been really in the mood to replay 10, actually. I've been kind of really debating picking up on Switch. But two things really put me off. The price and the fact that I already own it on both PS4 and Vita. So at that point I do have both the portable and the home abilities to play it, and you can transfer the save data between the Vita, the PS3 and the PS4 version. So at this point, really what I want to do is get out of Midgar. I don't think the game becomes truly interesting until, I say towards the end of Midgar. It's like there is stuff in Midgar that's really interesting. Like the raid on Shimra Tower is a lot of fun. Like, I think the game gets really good after we get out of Midgar. And probably after Calm, actually. Which, like, hopefully today we'll get out of Midgar in this one session. What do we call Tifa? I'm not calling her Tits McGee. We're not calling her Tit Bags either. Just give everyone very basic, standard names. Just to amuse myself, but I keep forgetting that I called Cloud Frankie. and that I called Barrett Roy. I keep forgetting which one's which. Any particular reason for calling her Astrid Bane? I mean, when I'm playing through 7 for myself, usually the only name I change is Aerith. I call her Aerith. But that's mostly because, like, getting used to Aerith was really awkward. Like, when Square first announced that it was supposed to be Aerith rather than Aeris, getting used to that was really irritating because it sounded like I was saying Aeris with a lisp. And that was really bothered me. Recycle the same name for JRPGs. That's fair enough. The only names I do tend to go with myself is usually I'm totally happy with sticking with standard names. Though I'll usually name the main character Chrono. Just for the sake of it. But I do have a set of names for when I have to name all the characters, like if you're playing Final Fantasy I, and none of the characters have names there. Careful you don't slide off that cloud. Yeah, I named Tifa Laura because I've had the song stuck in my head recently. Laura by Scissor Sisters. Of course, as far as names in JRPGs go, I did have an excellent influence in my father, who played this before I did, and I watched him play a bunch of it, and his names were all really stupid. Named Barrett Lister. Boys from the Dwarf. I do miss being able to name your characters in Final Fantasies. Not so much in JRPGs, because there are a lot of JRPGs you can still do it in, but I just miss being able to name your characters in Final Fantasies. But it's kind of the same with a lot of JRPGs these days, because they're voiced, you just don't get to name your characters. It's like if you play the DS version of Final Fantasy IV. In Final Fantasy IV, every character has a name, but you can rename them by going to the character naming way. But in Final Fantasy IV DS, the cutscenes are voiced, so you can't change the names. And so there's a running joke of naming way going through a bunch of different jobs. Because you can't rename the characters in that version. Can you give me your love? I have to give myself one more chance to be the man that I know I am. was weird in 8, being able to name Squall, Renoa, Angelo, and the GFs. Although if you know that you can name Ultimecia's GF for the final fight, if you know you can name that, calling it something like Butt Monkey is really funny. Or something along those lines. Because then there's the whole thing of her summoning the ultimate conceptual GF from Squall's mind, Butt Monkey. And of course in 10 you could name Tidus and that was it. And even to this day people argue over how you pronounce Tidus. Is it Tidus or is it Tidus? And I'm like, you know, Dissidia called him Tidus. So that's how I go from it. But I think other actual Final Fantasy stuff has called him Tidus. Nope. Oh yeah, I always forget about naming the Aeons in 10. Like I say, it's been a while since I've done 10, I really am due to go through it again. So let's sort out the materia. There we go. And is there a materia shop around here? I'll check. I'm pretty sure there is. It's a good idea to get some more restores. There we go, restore. We'll get another lightning as well, and that'll be it. Because at the minute we can't actually hold all of these. So, while Final Fantasy VII does have some of my favourite musical tracks in the series, I think we're only going to end up seeing like one of them in this session that I really enjoy, and that's going to be the Shinra theme. I love the Shinra theme. But the other stuff like Genova, Those Chosen by the Planet, Cosmo Canyon, they're not going to be in this session. There's not a chance of that. Should at least get to see Those Who Fight Further, which is one of my favourite boss battle themes in the series. Because as far as like boss battle themes go, I love Those Who Fight Further. Battle with the Four Fiends in Final Fantasy IV was really good. Clash on the Big Bridge, or Battle on the Big Bridge, whichever you want to call it, is also really good in 5. Yeah, I know the Those Who Fight Further plays during the Airbuster fight. It's just that it doesn't play during the first boss fight with Garthscorkin. Just trying to think like how many times we're likely to see it this part. this session, because there is the airbuster fight, and then I think the next boss after that is Axe in the sewers, which is gonna be a while actually. You go back here and talk to this guy here, you get the Phoenix down. Get to Axe. I think about we probably should. It really depends on how long Wall Street takes us. Yeah, there is the first fight with Reno, but that's not until after the fight with Apps in the sewers. Terrace theme is a fantastic piece of music. I love that. Honestly, Final Fantasy VI probably has like my favourite overworld theme in the entire series because of that. Just playing Terrace theme. But yeah, there'll be Airbuster, fight with Axe, Reno. After that, I think it'll be the Specimen in Shenmue Tower, which we're definitely not going to get to today. I mean, we're almost 50 minutes in now. You know what? Actually, thinking about it, we might. Yeah, we should be able to get through all of Wall Street. Probably will get to the fight with Reno. Yeah, no, let's just keep going and see how far we get. I usually get lost in this tunnel. It's like there's one route that connects with this area again, and I usually forget which way it is that I want to go and end up back here. The regular battle theme goes, not my favourite in the series. I do prefer Final Fantasy VIII's battle theme over this. Don't Be Afraid. I'm pretty sure it is. Although there are times where I get Don't Be Afraid and Force Your Way confused, but I'm pretty sure Don't Be Afraid is the standard battle theme, while Force Your Way is the boss theme. Hey, Jesse. I didn't get lost this time. There you go for me, Biggs. And of course, Biggs and Wedge, reference to Biggs, Darklighter, and Wedge Antilles in Final Fantasy. which is a reference they're still doing more recent Final Fantasies. Final Fantasy XIV has its own Biggs and Wedge. I don't remember if 15 did. 14 did. Yeah, Final Fantasy IX's battle theme is pretty solid. The Man with the Machine Gun is actually a really good battle theme. From Final Fantasy VIII. I'm trying to think what 10's theme's like, and I really can't right now. 6 has a really solid battle theme. The boss battle theme in 6 is also really good. As far as like the final battle music goes, which one's my favourite really depends on my mood. Yeah, FF8 has the Biggs and Wedge that you first meet in the mission at Dolet. Final Fantasy VI has Vixen Wedge, if you play the original Super Nintendo version. Or if you play any of the later versions, including... play any of the later versions, including the PS1 version that did touch up the translation, it's Biggs and Wedge. But yeah, as far as like the final battle theme goes, which one's my favourite really depends on my mood. It's usually a toss-up between Dancing Mad from 6, One Winged Angel from 7, and Otherworld from 10. And Otherworld's really good. Final Fantasy, as far as other Final Fantasies go, actually, though. Oh, here we go, this limit break that I don't actually like. I'm not fond of slots at all. Yeah, as far as like other Final Fantasies go, we will get to other Final Fantasies as the channel and the streams go on. So I do want to replay 13, I want to give 13 another chance. I also want to go through 15 again, because I got the Royal Edition of 15 with all the DLC and the extra stuff. But when I originally played it, I didn't have the Royal Edition, I didn't have any of the DLC. So I've only played the base 15, so there's a bunch there that I've not experienced, like any of the episodes, like the episode Gladiolus, episode Promptor, episode Ignis, not done any of those. Or the extra stuff that the Royal Pack added. One thing I do really want to do as well is compare Final Fantasy 15 with the episode Duske demo that came out with Type 0 HD. And see how it changed, because I remember really enjoying the episode Duske demo. Maybe that'll be a stream in and of itself at some point. We got here enemies we've seen before, so let's go. I really do love the fast forward grind. I like that it doesn't speed the music up either. That's really nice. The actual effort's gone into this port, and you can really tell. Unlike the port of Final Fantasy IX, it's like, you know what? We get to 9. We're going to be doing the PS1 version. If we get to 8, we have to do the PS1 version because Square will not re-release that. Like, for the love of God, Square, I'll buy 8 if you re-release it. It's interesting to know about the slots there, babe. My issue isn't just with the actually pulling the slots off, though. Part of my issue is you can't target it, and at no point, because Tifa's limit break, as it goes, as you get the higher level limit breaks, it's more slots, and you can't target anything with them. She'll just do things on her own, and I really don't like that. Right, so it's Roy who has Cure. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII we're doing on PS4. 8 we'll do on PS1 because we have to. 9 will be PS1 because that PS4 port is not worth it. 10 we'll be doing on PS4 because it looks nice. You get the option to switch between the arranged and the original soundtrack, which is a really nice feature. 12 we'll probably do the Zodiac Age on PS4 because in that case, like, why would you go back to the original unless you really want to just show off the differences? It's like with Kingdom Hearts. Now that you can get the final mix versions and the HD collections, why would you go back to the originals? So yeah, probably like Zodiac Age on PS4. With Final Fantasy I, it'll either be the Dawn of Souls version on Game Boy Advance or the PSP version, the Anniversary Edition. Final Fantasy II, God knows if I'm ever actually going to do that. 3, I'm not sure. It will either be the DS or PSP version. They are basically the same game. Probably the PSP version, or it'll look better. But nice, got it first time. I usually have trouble with that. The Famicom version has a lot of charm to it. 4. Probably going to do the Game Boy Advance version because I don't really like the way the PSP version looks. 5 will be the Advanced version. 6, 6 I'm really feeling like the PS1 version actually. 13 will be on Xbox because I have the 360 version and it's backwards compatible on Xbox One. It looks really nice. I love this theme. The DS version of 4 is a bastard. I'm not overly fond of 4. 4 is, like, a lot of people love 4, it's very well regarded. I'm not particularly fond of it. So it's like, I'm not going to play the harder version of 4 just for the way it looks. I'm honestly not sure about 14. Because I do have my own experience with 14. But 14's different from how it was when I left it. The new expansion, Shadowbringers, is coming out. It looks set to change a lot of the basic mechanics of the game, so I don't know. Yeah, slow in the DS version of 4 is... it's probably broken in that game. Like the way... Well, broken me, good idea. Good way of putting it. With how it's basically required in a lot of ways. I should have given Laura all the lighting material. No, it's not like this is a difficult fight. I do really like the way 7 looks, honestly. I love his graphical flares, the very clean nature of the polygons. Because like basically every polygon has like one texture in boss battles and stuff, and I really kind of like the visual style that gives it. Overpowered's probably a better way of putting it. Yeah. Like I said, I only really went through Final Fantasy VII on DS once, and that was when it came out. As far as like the remakes go, oh, it's over already. As far as like the remakes go, I definitely prefer 3. But 3 has a lot of charm though, and I do really love the job system that was then expanded on in 5. Job system's awesome. Please don't die from that huge fall. So it's kind of weird with 7 how sometimes the FMVs have like full character models and sometimes it's just the super deformed models. For those of you watching on YouTube after the fact, Bane just said in the chat he would call the DS version of 4 a spoony bastard. I was like, you know, that's good. I like that. But no, generally I'm not overly fond of 4. I'm not fond of the story, I'm not really fond of the characters. It has some good music. It was the second time Final Fantasy really tried to have like an in-depth story. Because 1 is a very basic story, and 3 is a very basic story, but 2 tried to have a story, and then 4 tried to have a bigger story. Oh no, I'll totally agree with you there, Bane. 3 is very grind-heavy, and the remake probably did make that worse, honestly. And it also has like the worst final dungeon in the entire series. The Crystal Tower is a bastard of a dungeon. So if you can't call Aerith the slum drunk in the remake, then I'm not buying it. No, that's the big problem. The Crystal Tower from start to finish. No save point. It's a huge dungeon. It's like at least 2 hours if you know what you're doing. There's multiple bosses. You have to fight Xand in there, then you have to fight Cloud of Darkness at the end, and Cloud of Darkness is not an easy fight. It's a horrible boss. It's a horrible dungeon. And the fact they didn't fix that in the remake is awful. Like, honestly, if there's one thing I'd say for the remake, I would say, like, if any way you can, cheat so you can save anywhere during that final dungeon, because that final dungeon is ridiculous. That crystal tower. There's probably 2 on the nose. Yeah, I'm thinking now I should have just made a whole theme out of naming these characters. Like, you know, maybe I should have named all the characters after Hey Arnold characters. You know, this is actually a point. Because Reno's personality in this game is very different to the rest of the compilation. Because Reno in this game is an outright prick, but in the rest of the compilation of 7, he's basically comic relief. So I'm kind of wondering how they're going to deal with that in the remake. Because Reno being a prick is kind of important to the story. And our introduction to the Turks theme here. Yeah, the question with naming the characters after Hey Arnold characters is I don't remember enough of the characters to name them after Hey Arnold characters. I mean, obviously there's Arnold, there's Helga, and I remember Eugene, and, like, that's it. I mean, the better idea might be naming them after Rugrats characters. I don't know if you want to go with an old Nickelodeon show. Yeah, let's see if we can get this right. Because the perspective here can be really irritating. Yeah, I totally agree. Quentin Flynn's voice for Reno is just straight up Axel. It's like I say, it's not so much that he's an idiot in the later ones, it's that he's made into comic relief, and the same's true of Rude. I'm gonna remember which one this is. Like, Rude in Advent Children is also kind of comic relief. You don't really see much of Rude in Crisis Core, but when you see Reno in Crisis Core, he's still got the same personality from Advent Children. Is it that one or this one? Let's take a gamble. Yes. So all I need is like the first one to get my bearings. that's the thing with the Turks, isn't it? It's not so much that they're not portrayed as bad guys in the later ones, it's that they're portrayed as ineffectual idiots. Whereas in this, they are actually bad guys. Although, as you go towards the end, and you learn more about them, and you meet them more, they become more rounded characters, not good guys, but not idiots. And you got stuff like when you can meet Rude in Junon during the parade, or the Wutai side quest, where you work with them, or the various appearances throughout the game, and you see more of them as characters. And it's not that they're not bad guys, it's that they're people. Whereas in Advent Children and Beyond, they are just kind of idiots, and also sung. That's another thing, Sung's personality changes immensely in Crisis Core as well. Because he's not really in Advent Children, but he plays a prominent part in Crisis Core, and comes across as a much nicer person. But then in this, he is kind of a bastard for most of the game. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't want to spoil... I want to spoil that plot point yet for people who haven't played this game before me, but it's exactly, that's a big point to talk about when you talk about Reno's characterization. And it's another question you have to ask with the remake, because the characterization that we've come to know for these characters is very different from the characterization from the original game. Like, not just with the Turks, with Cloud, with Aerith, with Tifa. I mean, it's kind of awkward with the other ones because, like, the rest of the party members don't really show up so much, with the exception of, like, Vincent in Dirge of Cerberus and stuff. Which, like I say, I haven't actually played. Like, the whole idea that Cloud is mopey and emo is pretty much entirely taken from Advent Children. In this game, that is not his characterization at all. And Aerith is a bland messianic character. Oh, also, here you go, babe. Of course, this is also foreshadowing for considerably later in the game, actually. How much gil do I have? I got the Titan Bangle and never equipped it. was I saying though? Yeah, like Aerith, being portrayed as like a messianic, blind, like a really blind character like that, is very different. In this game, she's actually really spunky. She doesn't take any crap. She's got a mouth on her. And she does actually come across as fairly tough, as you might expect from a girl who's grown up in the slums. Yeah, I don't want any of that. And I think that's going to be it. I always forget about the Turtles Paradise Flyers. I always forget where they are. That's a side quest I think I completed once. And I never steal the 5 gil. Usually the issue is if I forget to check the 5 gil. Because I think if you don't check it and leave it there, then I'm pretty sure you don't actually get the item later. I love this as a thing. That's funny to me. Yeah, I have no idea what the Turtles Paradise Flyer is. Yeah, I know you get the Turbo Ether for not taking the 5 gil. You get that when you come back after Wall Street. But like I say, I'm pretty sure what you actually have to do is check the 5 gil and then not take it. Oh, it's on the left hand side of the wall. Let me check that again. Ah, there we go. Thanks, Bane. Well, let's see. I want to give Helga the fire materia. And we'll also get an all materia here, which I do want to equip. Because the sooner you have a bunch of all... Oh no, it's cover. You know what, cover's not bad. Yeah. Where's the all materia I'm thinking of then? Like, the sooner you have a bunch of all materia, the better. This is Frankie. Frankie. Thank you, Frankie. I'm from Soldier. Might as well get a good night's sleep before we go. In this one area of the slums that doesn't look like a slum. And also an actually fairly large and well-kept house. Okay. I haven't slept in a bed like this in a long time. In, say, 5 years or so. Now let's get out of here and go to Wall Street. And by Wall Street, I mean Wall Market. Also make sure you walk, otherwise Helga will know and chase you, and you'll have to go back to bed. Not like it matters because she's here anyway. You see what I mean? Like, take no crap. But then, Advent Children Beyond, she's just really bland. Also, this is where we'll fight houses. Are we going to fight any houses? Yep, there we go, there's a house. There's a house that shoots missiles. I'm going to say now we're not actually going to get Don Corneo to choose us. Specifically because I want the extra experience you get from fighting his mooks and the extra items that you don't get if he chooses you. Oh wow, it went down. I was not expecting that. That's the wrong person. This is wonderful. I'm used to the game, like, not this game necessarily, but like the games in the series. Oh, for the love of God. Like auto-selecting the character that stuff is actually going to work on. Bloody house. That was all my Phoenix downs. That down. Wall Market's right here. we'll start with Sonic Part 4. To be fair, I'm not a Sonic player. I don't really play classic Sonics that much. Or at all, really. We get to a platform that I do actually play a bunch. Like, we get to Super Mario World, see how that turns out. But yeah, no, that house just really hit me really bad. So that wasn't great. Fun facts, I do have the platinum for this game on PS4. One of the trophies is for getting a game over. Also, the first appearance of a Chocobo in this game. Yeah, like I said, we're not going to get Don Corneo to choose us, which also means we're going to get through War Market a lot quicker. Let me see, though. Be worth doing a bit of shopping here, though, actually, and also visit the inn. Am I still dead? No, Cloud's fully healed for some reason. Okay. So, no, I don't visit the inn then. Which one's the materia shop? Is it this one? Or the weapons shop, so I can get another bangle for Tifa. Wait, no, I remember where I need to go. We need to talk to the fat guy first. Now we head north. Yeah, no, like, as far as the Sonic the Sonic Let's Play went, like I say, I'm not really particularly great at the classic Sonics. But like I also said in the playthrough itself, the whole no continues thing is ridiculous. And it's like, oh no, lose all your lives. And Sonic 1 is a game that will take your lives from you for stupid reasons. It's like, lose all your lives and game over, back to the start of the game. So, yeah, no. I'm not apologising for that. Let's see. Definitely want that. And also... 2 of these. If I sell the bronze bangles and the titanium... No, I don't have enough for another mithril, so we'll keep that one for now. So War Market's really just a bunch of back and forth. It's even more back and forth if you want to get the Don to choose you. Which is funny, but like I say, it actually does deprive you of experience, money, and a few items. And the old man's in the bar. So, when the remake was first announced, like, this whole cross-dressing thing was the first thing everybody jumped on. Like, they've got to bring this back. It's like, you know, if they don't bring this back, it'd be really weird. Because this is kind of important to the story. The whole Don Corneo thing is important to the story. There we go, the silk dress. I usually forget which one gets you the silk. Because there's the silk, which I think is the best, there's the satin, which isn't as good, and the cotton dress, which I think is the worst. Yeah, no, there'd be so many complaints if they get rid of the whole Wall Market sequence. Well, I think the way the, just RPGs in general have gone. Like, I don't know if they'd be able to pull off in the same way. Like all the extra stuff you can do to get Don Corneo to choose you. Like side quests in JRPGs just don't work like that anymore. Right, so there's three results to this. There's either a win, a draw, or a loss. A win gets you the best wig, a draw gets you a different wig, and a loss gets you the worst wig. Ah, damn it. You just need to get the sequence down. That guy will mess up a bunch of times, but it won't give you as much of a lead as you'll think. Like you might think like, oh no, we made one mistake, he's made four, we'll be way ahead. But it's not actually that much. 4 squats ahead, that was it. I thought silk dress was the best option for the Don. Because like, I know you want the blonde wig, and then there's the diamond tiara. There's the underwear doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you get the briefs or the lingerie. That doesn't really matter as long as you get one of them. Also, there's the coupon that gets you something. But I thought the silk dress was the best. Huh. Sexy cologne, there you go. I thought... Yeah, no, you're right. Deodorant's like one of the other ones. I think the makeup is entirely optional. But it does boost chances, maybe? I don't know. It's been a while since I looked into the whole mechanics of this, because I'm usually just trying to get through Midgar as quick as possible so I can get to the rest of the game. Well, let's go do this. Yeah, usually I'm just trying to get through Midgar. Just to... probably say like post-calm. I really need to set up a save file post-calm, just so I can jump right back in there. Frankie. There you go. I need to go back and continue I Am Setsuna, actually. I started it and it was interesting. I will say, like, one of the main things that attracted me to the whole I Am Setsuna thing was the idea of the soundtrack being entirely piano piece. Which sounded really cool, but like 5 hours in, it's really kind of monotonous. Like, yeah, you've got different piano pieces evoking different tones and emotions, but at the end of the day, they're just all piano. And there's a limit to how much you can do with one instrument over the course of an entire JRPG. So Don Corneo takes 3 girls every night, picks one of them, takes them to bed to decide whether he wants to marry them. Please, Miss Helga's my dad. The perspective of characters on the stairs here always look really weird to me. It's like you can see the way it shifts as you move up and down the stairs. It makes the character look really squashed. And in case anybody's wondering at this point, yes, I will be doing the Wu-Tai side quest. I'm still undecided on everything I'm going to be doing with this game. Am I going to get a gold chocobo? Don't know. Am I going to get Knights of the Round? Don't know. Am I going to go out of my way for a bunch of stuff? Don't know. Am I going for Great Gospel? No. But I will be doing the Wu-Tai side quest, definitely. I'm going to be going after Great Gospel just because of how much of a pain it is. and you can only really use it in one dungeon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get that hidden hyper before you leave the bedroom. So the Don can actually pick any of the three. He'll pick you if you've got all the right materials, but I think there are certain factors that determine whether or not he'll pick Aerith or Tifa if you aren't chosen. Because he'll pick either of the other two. No, I honestly don't think Great Gospel's worth it, considering you have to do a lot of grinding with Aerith. Get out of the way. Like, you've got to do a lot of grinding with Aerith, then you have to go like way out of your way. To actually get Great Gospel. Like the last time I did it, it was entirely for the trophy. Because you get a trophy, I think, for every ultimate limit break. So there's stuff like Omni Slash, Catastrophe, High Wind, Final Heaven, like trophy for all of them. Take him down, boys. I just love being able to speed up these really basic fights. Because I love the thought that can go into a battle when you have a full party. But when it's one character versus like, enemies, I do think it's actually kind of really dull. Thankfully, it doesn't happen that much during the game. I hear nothing I can do until my turn comes up again. That hell is it. I'm gonna want to heal here. And because the Don didn't choose Aerith, that'll mean a heal's easy, but I could just use an item. There we go. Of course, this whole scene's probably not going to go down so well in the remake if they do this. You know, when Square left Nintendo, they really took advantage of the lack of censorship PlayStation had. And of course, here's another bit that really shows off the difference in character between the way the characters are in the original 7 and how they were portrayed in Advent Children and Beyond. Like Aerith threatening to rip off Don Corneo's dick. It's like, you know, maybe she isn't the kind of character they've been pushing her as in the later games. What you say is a Clark Kent style change of clothes? I was actually thinking more Wonder Woman with the spin. I'm falling. We have this theme that I love again. It's kind of a shame we never actually got a proper fight with Heidegger. I mean, we do fight him in the Proud Clod along with Scarlet, but we never actually properly fight him like we do Palmer or Rufus. It took me years to notice that Shinra has a cigar in his mouth there. Check the equipment. We got the metal knuckle for Laura. Let me see. Actually, no, you know, I want to keep Helga with magic because she is more of a mage. Also, go and grab this item before we talk to them. And also, even though they're unconscious, they will help us in this fight. Against the Sahagin. Crisis, Rufus is actually imprisoned in the Shinra Tower, wasn't released until after the president's death. Is that the retconned explanation for Rufus's absence? Because I'm not overly aware about much regarding Before Crisis, because of course it was never released in this country. It's a mobile game, an old mobile game. I know you play as a member of the Turks and Avalanche are the bad guys, but it's Avalanche pre-Barrett. So that's kind of all I really know about it. That's weird. I mean, I suppose you can take the there is an implication of something, maybe, that you could take as that in this game. When Rufus first appears, I think Barrett says he heard Rufus had been away for a long time, which could just be, you know, kind of cover, oh no, yeah, no, it was locked up, we said he went away kind of thing, I guess. But it's a weird thing to retcon into it. That's interesting. Rufus tries to use the original avalanche to overthrow his father and is caught by the Turks. That is pretty interesting. Also, Apps here has a gimmick. He'll use Tsunami every so often through the fight, and depending on which side the wave comes from, it'll do more damage to either you or Apps, but it will always damage Apps. It's a really weird attack. But if it comes from behind Apps, it'll do more damage to him than you, but if it comes from behind you, it'll do more damage to you than him. Like that hurt us more than him. It? Is he done now? Nope. Is he low? I'm pretty sure he'll always use it just before his death. There we go. Damn it, that's gonna kill Laura. I was really hoping I could get that off without having to use any healing. That's really more me being awkward than anything though. I wanted to get the healing wind off so I wouldn't actually use any MP for it. God damn it. So yeah, that was me. That wasn't bad circumstance, that was me being awkward. Because I wanted to use Healing Wind, so I wouldn't have to use any MP, and yeah, it was bad timing more than anything else. I do tend to be pretty conservative with MP, honestly. Like try and save it for boss battles, even in boss battles try to save it for the stuff that I want to use it for rather than like, oh no, healing and stuff. Especially when Aerith's at the party and she has her heals and buff limit breaks. There. So the train graveyard. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fast forward this so we can get through here a lot faster. I don't really like this area. bunch of stuff that I'm going to want to pick up around here. Like there for the high potion. And the ghosts are really irritating. If you hit them, then they'll disappear, and you can't damage them while they're invisible. But you know what? Magic is a good idea for these guys. But you say we come back here in a Dirge of Cerberus? That sounds awful. Not even really because I particularly hate this area, but the idea of an area like this in a more modern game really doesn't sound appealing to me. Oh, we got cross slash, nice. So the way the limit breaks work in this game is you get new limit breaks by using the old limit breaks. The more you use them, the sooner you'll get the new ones. So while you may want to try and conserve limit breaks for boss fights and stuff, you do really want to use limit breaks as much as possible as well. I should have got another fire. Yeah, I got that in. Look how much cleaner the trains look in this time. Especially compared to the backgrounds around them. So the good news is I'm pretty sure we'll get a full heal before the next area. That's one thing Final Fantasy can be kind of weird about, like when the game will heal you without telling you. And now we're out. I'm back in familiar territory. You hear something above us? It sounds like the battle theme. Oh, I hope that isn't a hostage. Of course, remember your name, Wedge. You're named after that one guy in Star Wars who didn't really make much of an appearance in the movies, but was like, what, the only side character that appeared in all three of the original trilogy movies and was portrayed by the same actor. Yeah, I don't think any other character in the original trilogy was in all three movies. I mean, you've got Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan. Yes, you're full heal. And I think that's it. Like, Tarkin's only in episode 4, the Emperor's in 5 and 6. Admiral Akbar's only in 6, Crix Madine's only in 6, Mon Mothma's only in 6. I don't think any of the other Rebel characters appear in 5 and return in 6. I think like Wedge is the only other character that appears in all 3 movies. What do you think, Bane? Like, he appears during the attack on the Death Star in the first one, he appears during the Battle of Hoth in episode 5, and he appears during the attack on the second Death Star in episode 6. I think he's the only character to be in all 3 movies and still be played by the same actor if any other characters did also appear. Although I can't think of any other characters that did appear in all 3 movies. No, I'm pretty sure it's still the same actor in episode 5. Because you're probably thinking of the character who finds Luke and Han in the Hoth Wilderness. But I'm pretty sure he does actually appear in the actual Battle of Hoth. It's like, oh yeah, no, Disney wants you to get hyped because they're bringing back Billy D. Williams as Lando in episode 9. And it's like, cool, Lando as well, but where's Dennis Lawson as Wedge Antilles? It's like, you know, just have it, like, oh yeah, no, everything's going bad. We're down to our last person, Poe's about to get shot down, and then BAM! In flies Antilles. Alright, here we go. The fight with Reno. It's like not even Wedge flying one of the new X-Wings, like Wedge just flying in on one of the classic X-Wings. The Incom T-65 X-Wing. So Reno's not a difficult boss, honestly. He has one trick up his sleeve, and that's Pyramid. Trap your character in a pyramid, your character then can't move, and somebody else has to break the pyramid. That's it. All he's got. His teeth have been stopped. No, she was just preemptively caught in a pyramid. Alright. I was like, wait, does Reno have stop? That doesn't seem right. Cross slash. 1, 2, 3. Also has a chance of paralysing the opponent. Going on Frankie, we need to take out the pyramid. And everybody just hit. So yeah, Reno's not a tricky fight, doesn't really have anything going on beyond pyramid. I guess Electromag Rod does actually stun characters for a very short time. That's weird, I've never noticed that. Ah, just as Laura got a limit break. The face looks horrible there, Reno. Good work there, Laura. Hey, Sung. So Reno counts as a Shinra executive? See, there's a big difference with Sung's character compared to Crisis Core, where in Crisis Core he's basically like an old friend to Aerith. I just love that they used to do this in the old games, like interspliced FMVs with gameplay. I always thought that was really cool. Fear Effect was big on that as well. It was kind of like Resident Evil, but instead of pre-rendered backgrounds, it was actual FMVs as backgrounds. I think for like damn near everything. Which is why why Fear Effect 1 and 2 are on 4 discs each. So Shinra just straight up murdered an entire sector of the city to try and kill Avalanche. And it's like, it's not just the people on under the plate in the slums. That's got to have killed almost everybody on top of the plate as well. Which is just ridiculous. But yeah, no, Reno is the one that pushed the button and is later portrayed as comic relief. Despite being the one who pulled the trigger on the device that killed... God, how many people do you think were in there? Thousands? Tens of thousands, maybe? It's a big part of the reason why a game like this shouldn't get a sequel so far after the fact. And the same can be said of Final Fantasy IV, the after years, where the characters are also pretty different. Yeah, that was a really stupid vocal thing, like a vocal tick that Axel had in Kingdom Hearts. He just kept saying that. I was like, that doesn't make you sound cool, Axel. Honestly, it makes you sound like you think I'm an idiot, and I don't appreciate that. We should do Kingdom Hearts at some point soon. So as far as that series goes, like, yeah, no, I'll do one final mix. I'll do 2 final mix, Birth by Sleep. 3, 5, Dream Drop Distance. I'm unsure about whether I'll actually play 358 with 2 Days and Recodes, or whether I'll just watch the movies with you guys. Fragmentary Passage, and then there's the movie for the mobile game, which you can go through. And then Kingdom Hearts 3. I will not be touching Rechained Memories because I think it is a god-awful game. But it should be a fun series to do. I've not actually finished the series. I'm still like a few games behind. Really irritates me that you can leave this area without grabbing that materia. Like, come on, I want the materia. And you can't go back until they catch up with you, so you have to get to here. Right, looking at the time, we've still got a bit left if we'll call it for the night. We should get into Shimra Tower before we end tonight, but we're probably not going to make it through. I love the foreshadowing as well towards Sephiroth here. Like with the stuff Cloud's remembering before you actually see it properly, which I think is really good. Right, guys, another house. I forgot Laura had a limit break. There we go. Grab the sense materia. We can throw that on because somebody has an empty slot. And it's me. There we go. Well, especially on your repeat playthroughs, it's worth knowing what materia you're going to want to be fully leveled up, and then making sure you always have that materia on somebody. Oh, I got more money now actually, so don't forget the turbo ether. Thank you. And we're going to talk to Helga's mother. And the first appearance of Helga's theme, actually. I wonder how many sessions this game's going to end up being. We are kind of blasting through a lot of the text, though I am reading it as we go through it. I do read fairly quickly though, so you know that's the thing. I do wonder how many sessions it's going to be. It's probably going to come out longer than Dark Souls though. Apparently that's Biggs and Jesse there, dancing around the pole. Although whether it's actually Biggs and Jesse or whether they just recycled the character models is the question. I do like this theme. When I bought Final Fantasy VII on PS4, actually, it did come with a Final Fantasy VII theme for the PS4, which changes the menu noises on the PS4 menu into Final Fantasy VII menu noises, which I quite like. It's also playing Aerith's theme in the background, which is neat, but it does get kind of tiresome when it's always playing. And there's young baby Helga and her mother Ifalna. Later on we'll learn basically everything in this series is Hojo's fault. Well, of course, we haven't actually met Hojo yet. I agree with you there, Bane. This theme is basically like the emotional theme of the game. I think it's mostly because of the scenes it plays in. It's specifically referred to as Aerith's theme. But it does generally play during emotional scenes like this, where Elmira remembers Aerith, how she first adopted Aerith, and what happened to her mother, and then what happened to her husband. And of course various other things later in the game. It plays for... See, you could blame Gast, but the question becomes, like, what are you specifically blaming Gast for? Because, like, my biggest question with Gast is, like, blame him for Sephiroth, but then Hojo's, like, the big thing behind Sephiroth to begin with. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe Gast starting Genova research, but basically everything that came with that was Hojo's work. I'm gonna have to remember to take a look in the abandoned house in Ice Glen. Gast was lead on the Genova project, yes, but like I say, basically everything that comes from the Genova project was Hojo's work. like Sephiroth was Hojo's son, which is something we find out later that doesn't really mean much. And Hojo injected Genova cells into Sephiroth in a room. Hojo is responsible for... There's a lot of other stuff, but we do essentially go into spoiler territory there for now. Yeah, I'd place like the blame for everything basically on Hojo rather than Gast. Especially if we don't take any of the other games into consideration with Genesis and stuff like that. Where you've got that other doctor in Crisis Core whose name I can't remember. Alright. So we need to get back to War Market now. So I might as well speed there. Hollander, that's his name. Thanks, Dane. Yeah, I don't remember that character ever having much of a presence. He felt more like a MacGuffin than an actual character. Get through here. Damn it. So close. Can't actually just use Q on myself. That's the big risk with using the cover material. Somebody burns through the health so fast that way. It can be really helpful for protecting some of the weaker party members. But then the other side is that we generally don't have any party members that are particularly weak. I mean, you've got like, Aerith is the designated white mage, but she can take a hit. And then beyond that, there's nobody else who's specifically designated as a mage role. Yeah, like Barrett can do long range, but he can also get certain weapons that will give him close range, and he can take a hit. Yuffie, maybe? I don't know. So we can never go back to Sector 7 now. Can't complain at 10 gil. We just stayed here. Alright, so I need to get the batteries. So that's 300 gil, and now we can get some more weapons. I actually got an assault gun, didn't I? I'm sure I saw one in my inventory. Yeah, and I never equipped him with it. Titan Bangle, the Mithril Armor, actually. should be a materia shop down here. Which I should look into finding. Could always do with more materia. This one? There we go, it's this guy. Everybody wants one of those. Let's see, we have another one of those. And that. And that should be good. Nice. We'll give Barrett cover. There we go. Like, really, you want fire, ice, and lightning, because they'll be useful for most of the game. I love the theme that starts playing here when we start climbing this ladder, this wire. Golden shiny wire of hope. And of course the remains of Sector 7. I also think this is like one of the worst places in the game for figuring out the exact pathway. And not figuring out where you need to go, but figuring out where the path actually leads. Like, what direction do you need to push to get further? It's like you have to climb up the wire, then jump over on the top left there. But visually, it looks like you should be able to just walk from the middle of the wire. But you can't because that platform's in the background. Part of the issue you get when dealing with the pre-rendered background design. Oh, goddammit. I also hate this bit. If we're going to get the item from around here, we need to do this twice. You always have an issue with the timing. And you always know if you've got the timing right. Because it's a different animation. There we go. You see what I mean? And then place another battery and this opens a chest. Now we get an ether. Now we have to do this again. Just to fast forward makes this less painful. There we go. Alright, so this is where we were. Whenever they do helicopters in this game, they always look so stupid and I love it. What do you think, Bane? Should we go through the front door or should we take the stairs? the front door, you say? So what I'm going to do is we're actually going to run up the stairs. There's an item halfway up the stairs. And then we're going to go all the way back down, which isn't so bad with the fast forward actually. And then we're going to do the front door. These are a long set of stairs, though. Honestly, it is really like less trouble to just take the. There we go. Just go in the front door. Well, thanks to the fast forward, it's not so bad doing this, which is nice. And an elixir at this stage of the game is actually pretty valuable. Alright, this should be the bottom. There we go. I really do like that the fast forward doesn't speed the music up. Let's go and bust in through the front. It's emergency. So yeah, going through the front door isn't particularly difficult. It's worth it for the experience you'll get. Because every little helps, honestly. Especially if you don't want to be grinding. Taking on every random encounter you'll find. Going through the front door, not avoiding fights, generally will get you in a position where you will never really need to grind for anything if you know what you're doing. So the question here is, can we get to the lab before we call it a night, or will we have to call it a night on the relaxation floor? So, the Turtles Paradise number 2, top right corner, first floor. You know, I never knew this shop existed. I've honestly never seen this before. I didn't even know this was here. Could do with the Phoenix Downs. I'm guessing I get that on the return trip. Oh, it's ground floor. Alright. Well, the whole ground floor, first floor thing is always really confusing because some people mean the first floor as the ground floor, some people mean the first floor is in the floor above the ground floor. It's really confusing sometimes. But yeah, no, I found the accessory shop in the Shimmer building that I had no idea was there. Well, I played this game for years, I had no idea that was there. I want those guards to fight me. Yeah, I figure you won't be able to open those chests until the return trip. Oh no, the elevator's going haywire. So is there a set number of times this happens? I know it happens a bunch, and then, you can tell when it's almost done because it does stop on a particular floor. I think it stops on floor... there's a particular floor it stops just before it's done. But does it happen a certain number of times? Four fights. That's fair enough. I do know with each time you stop it, you do climb higher. I wonder if there's a timing trick to it to make it go faster. Like maybe try and cut it down to 3 fights if you can stop it just right. So we're aiming for 459. Was Tifa hit with Rage there? Yeah, she's been hit with Fury, nice. Fury is a weird status ailment in this game. Because in most games you think of it Berserk, where your character will do more damage. But you won't be able to control them. But in this, Fury just means the air break meter goes up faster, but you can still control them. I'm guessing there's a downside to it, like maybe lower magical damage or lower defense, maybe? There we go, 59. But whatever the downside to it is, it's not immediately obvious. Everybody here with bolt's a good idea. Off my drink. There we go, some salt. Carbon bangles from moth slashers. Yeah, right, is a decent piece of equipment for this part of the game. I don't think you can buy them for quite a while actually yet. I do think the Shimmer Tower is a really interesting place to go through. There's a bunch of different ideas on each floor. So here, you can sneak past them. You can also get caught, and there are a limited number of times they'll catch you before no more come. So you can just do a bit of quick grinding here if you want. It's entirely viable. So I think you have to go through 4 before they'll stop coming back. But it's nice to have an option around the stealth section just in case you're having trouble with it. And hell, you do get the experience for the trouble. You say Shimmer Soldier's 3rd class, I'm guessing you mean Soldier 3rd class. So they carried the hard-edged sword. So that's the issue, I don't tend not to actually steal that often. Is my big thing. I know you can get like a bunch of stuff a lot. A lot of times in Final Fantasy you can get stuff from stealing. But it's not something I usually do. There we go. So not every floor will have random encounters on them, just most floors. So here's a question, Bane. Which do you think it's going to be here? So this is the mayor, and he will give you the keycard for the next floor if you pick the word he's thinking of. And I think it's randomized. There were a bunch of times where I had the word being Mako. I've had the word be Mako, I've had it be King, I've had it be Bomb before. So it really depends. You can pay the deputy mayor for tips on what it is, and you can also go through the library and try and figure it out through there. But I never really bother. You know, I should save before I try out what it is. Alright. Where's the nearest save point, actually? It's not here. Can I get out of this? Oh, no. Because there is a save point there. There isn't one here. Gonna have to go in the elevator down to the bottom. And back up to the top. Alright, so you're saying Mako Bane. So if you get it right on the first try, you do get an item. It was Mako this time, yeah. Elemental materia, nice. Yeah, like I said, I've had it be Mako before, I've had it be Bomb, I've had it be King. But I had it as Mako like a lot, to the point where I thought it was always Mako, and then in more recent playthroughs it wasn't, which was kind of surprising. Alright, we've got this floor. Now if you do this right, you can get all 3 items. Let's see if I can remember the route. Because you can open 3 doors, and you can't go in that one. I'm sure you're going through the top. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. Go out here and open this door, and we've got it. Yeah, we got all 3 coupons, and there's really only 1 coupon you really after, and that's the one that gets you 4 slots. But the other 2 coupons aren't too bad. All materia is good to have, and Star Pendant is, I think, what is it? Immunity to poison. So they're good to have, but 4 slots the one you really want if you're only going to get 1. fact, actually. There we go. There we go. Protect poison. There we go. Come on. Yeah, you know, I think I'll leave that. 250 gil for a health drink, jeez. No, it's a shame we can't have that now. There we go, the ether. Fun fact, that megaphone is actually a character's ultimate weapon, but we can't get it now. That said, the megaphone is an ultimate weapon for a character I will never use. You know what, this is probably a good place to call it. We're almost at 3 hours anyway. So I think we'll call it here for the Final Fantasy VII stream today. Yeah, I'm back with Final Fantasy VII tomorrow.